necessarily reflect the views of KAZ Radio Television Network or its sponsors.
Well, it's around that time right here on KAZ Radio where we have one of the most hottest shows every single evening, not every single evening, but every single Thursday evening with my friends and yours who've got issues with Donald and Mike. How you guys doing?
What's up?
And welcome to We've
Got Issues.
You got my main man Mike. You got my main man Brand.
On Browns
shout out
night.
to the Browns before we start, but let's shout out to our favorite, to our leader, to our father. Father, thank you for today. We ask that you complete the work that you've begun in each of us, and let us see as you see and do as you say. Amen. All right, welcome to for those of you, we're on KAZ Radio now, but welcome to
We've Got Issues.
10 years, Mikey.
10 years in the fold.
This is September 10 years ago, we actually started doing this show, and we had a little bit of a hiatus there, and now we're back, and we're going to go back today and talk about shows that we've done and what we were doing and talking about 10 years ago this time when we started out on WERE 1490 here in Cleveland. Mike, I'll tell you, before we get started with that, let's go around and ask you guys what your issues is. Let's start with you, Duran.
Yeah, my issue is with all these shootings. Just earlier, I got word that Richard Jefferson's father was killed in a drive-by
Tell them who Richard Jefferson is for those of those.
Yeah, Richard Jefferson, for those who don't know, was he played for the Cavs, went to Arizona. He played basketball. He was part of the championship team.
So his father got shot?
Yes, his father got shot in front of a liquor store. It was a drive-by, and he was 65 years old. And early afternoon. But that's one of my issues is all these shootings. I mean, and I think we've let them become heathenistic because it's anything, everything. Little babies getting killed in cars and all of this stuff because you're mad because you or something. And it's always just a certain age of group of people. And it's like, I don't know what we can do about it, but these shootings are just becoming senseless now.
I understand that. That's a good issue.
Yeah, and I think they've been senseless for a long time. I think one of the reasons is that, our leadership
exactly
they've kind of ignored the issues for so long that it's gotten out of control. And here's the thing for me. When you have police officers that can shoot someone, an unarmed person, and then make up a reason or try to discredit that person for whatever reasons. They weren't necessarily doing anything wrong. Like this one guy in Texas who the police officer went into the wrong apartment and just shot the guy. And she didn't apologize.
We talked about that last week on the show.
Right, and she didn't apologize. To this day has not apologized.
And she's out on bond.
And they tried to discredit this guy. Said they went and got
marijuana. Yeah,
for
I
his
heard
house
about
and
that.
found weed in his house. And this lady is saying that he didn't comply to her commands. Well, who does when you walk into their own house?
Right, who has to?
Right.
Who has to? That's a great issue.
Yeah, that is an issue also. Right. Well, with these certain police, now not all of them are bad. Some of them try to do it. But I'm talking about these miserable people who were miserable all of their life.
Right.
They're out here on the streets, and if they're miserable, they're going to make sure someone else feels it. Yeah. And you see it all around you now. And
I'm sick and tired of them getting the presumption of innocence. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
If you or I walked into someone's apartment accidentally shot someone, we would be held to a higher standard than what the police would.
Convicted. It wouldn't be a jury of our peers either.
Yeah.
So that's a great issue. That's an issue. That's an ongoing issue. That catches everybody's eye.
Yeah, that got me right away.
Mike, what's your issue for this week?
I'm still on, my brother Kaepernick, and I just, Brother Duran over there made me think about, there was a shooting this morning in Maryland at what's the name of the company? I can't. Rite Aid headquarters or something, and there were some fatalities there and others that were injured. They did catch the shooter, and he was injured, but it didn't come from a police weapon. Wow. Yeah, that's things that make you go.
Yeah.
You know, Kaepernick is still without a job. I love the Just Do It ad campaign. I'm with it. I'm going to get me some Nikes this weekend.
So you want to see what's you want to? I feel you. That's excellent. You want to see how it goes, how it plays out going forward.
Well, you know what? How it's been going is that Nike has record sales
since then. That's right.
Since that came out.
I saw that article.
That's what you call
right.
karma.
I mean, they've had the highest.
30%.
Yeah, they've had the highest sales in the history of the company. So it's going pretty well.
Yeah, that's good. My issue is like I was telling you guys before the show started was. This special that I watched last night, I encourage everybody to watch it. It's called The Amazing Human Body. It was on PBS. The first part of it was survive. The other, grow and then learn and then survive. I just didn't realize, we take a lot of stuff for granted. We really don't realize how marvelous and miraculous our bodies are. And then that's just something that really fascinated me, because as you go through your life, we take so many things for granted. Did you know that by the time you're 65, you would have taken 700 million breaths? But it's the moment that takes your breath away that count, right? They all count. Yeah. Did you know that your heart will beat 3 billion times by the time you're 65 years old, and that you will have spent a complete 6 months of your life laughing? I encourage everybody. I have no issue with that. I learned so much last night watching The Amazing Human Body, and I just wanted to share that it's a great issue, a great topic. Everything comes from your hands. I can just keep going on and on and on.
Well, that's interesting because of the way that they're airing that show as well, because you said that it's grow, learn, survive, right? And if you think about our lives, that's what we do. We're born, we start growing, we start learning, and then, as we reach adulthood, we go into survival mode.
Exactly.
For some of us, survival mode is a lot harder than others.
That's true. I got no issue with that. Yeah, we were talking about going back to our 10-year anniversary, and people always ask us over the years, well, how did you guys come up with the name We've Got Issues? And, it's been such a while. Mike and I, when we started talking about the plan of the show, we were like, how did we come up with the name for a minute there? Right. And then we really thought about coming back to, we were talking about shedding light. When I first reconnected with Mike, guys, we had reconnected, and Mike was king for a day at Santa Delma. So I had never met a guy who was like a grand marshal in a parade, let alone in his grade school. I was like, you got to come be on my show. And that's how we started talking. And from that, that's how we reconnected. And that's really how was the start of our show.
Yeah, and I think, now that I think back on it, we were always wanting to highlight issues. We wanted to talk about what's going on in politics, what's going on in the news, bring light to it, talk about our story instead of his story.
Exactly, right.
And I think that
some of you guys say that history is really his story, not your story.
And then I always being sober for a number of years now, look at it like myself. And when I look at myself, I know that I have plenty of issues. And it's whether or not I want to face those issues or not. So, that's another reason why I love the name of the show.
No doubt about it. I mean, what you do, and then when you're able to offer solutions and give your take, right. Duran, and I'll pass it to you, and this, everybody wants to be heard. Yeah. Babies cry. Everybody wants to be heard. And I think that one of the things that we did when we were coming up with the name of the show is Mike, we used to have the call-in lines lit up continuously, didn't we? Because people were calling in because they wanted to be heard. Right. And there's something to be said about that. So, Duran, getting back forward with you, I know you weren't around with us 10 years ago, but what do you think of the name of our show?
I think it has a ring to it because every day we wake up, we have issues. And and like you said, to be heard, and you might be heard by the right authorities sometimes. Right. And people will take action to do things about certain issues that's going on today. Every day we wake up, but you're going to always have issues when you wake up. If you don't, you'll look around and say, "What's going on here?
That's right.
Wrong?" You're going to have issues.
And this is how you combat them. It's funny because when we were starting the show 10 years ago, it was in September, and it was getting ready for the primaries and voting and so forth. And it was vote yes on issue 2, vote no on issue 2. So not only do we have issues, you can vote on issues, vote yes or no. I'm just saying.
And it was also vote yes for Obama.
Yes, going back to that, we chronicle, Mike, let's go back over some of the times that we.
Oh man, I mean, we did. We went on the air right as when we got the news that Michael Jackson had passed.
So yeah, we played Michael Jackson the entire show. We had a good show that day.
Yeah, we changed our
wasn't as good as that Michael Jackson show, but right on there, right in that particular time frame. I mean, we were playing. I mean, it's not enough time in a 44-minute show to play all his great stuff. But
we did the memorial show about all the great people that had
passed away that year. Oh, that was a great show.
I think it was Luther and just so many that year we lost.
And that was another great show we did. We also did that one show. We did the show, of course, when Obama got reelected. In that particular show, which I thought was a great show.
Well, for a question about that, Obama, when he was reelected,
for the second term.
For the second term, how did you feel? How did both of you? What went through your minds when he was
the first time or the second time?
The second time. Well, no, both times.
The first time I cried because I never thought that would happen in my life.
I didn't think so either.
And so I shed a few tears. Probably was up all night and just felt it was a proud moment in American history. And
Black history.
As African Americans, we've had so many proud moments that have been washed over or forgotten about or lied about
or redacted.
It was really something to see history. And
our story.
And then the second time, which I thought was an even harder campaign for him because we had
Mike,
and during that time we had Agent Orange trying to discredit him all he could.
Mike, we did a show, Duran. Speaking of that, I'm piggybacking on because everything Mike said is the same thing pretty much for me. We did a show where we picked apart. I mean, down to there's nothing, no meat left on it. Sarah Palin and John McCain.
And it wasn't hard to do.
It was Sarah Palin with that. We were so. It was just ridiculous. But the point I'm making is, she had went to 7 different colleges.
All right.
To get her bachelor's, right? And
here's the thing about John McCain. Now he
crashed nights. Go ahead.
John McCain was a very good politician. I'll give him credit. He was excellent at what he did. But he chose the wrong running mate because she was dumb as rocks. Still is.
I can see Alaska from my house. I can see downtown Cleveland from here.
Just some of the things that she said made people say, "What?"
Yeah. You remember we talked about. Now I remember the lines were lit up. We had the one guy call in because.
Speaking of the lines, 298-1554. That's 216-298-1554. The lines are open. Call in. Let us know what you think about We've Got Issues.
And we do. But we were talking about the one thing. John McCain, rest in peace, Maverick, all good stuff. The man crashed $7 million planes. Now, first of all, if a brother get on one plane, we down there vilify Denzel in flight. If a real brother get behind, that brother crashed 7 planes. Stop. That boy crashed 7.
They go really fast now.
Exactly. That man crashed 7 planes, dude, and lived 7 times.
Right.
He's like, hey, man, I think the last 3 or 4.
Did he get off the ground? He was just backing another airplane.
Hey, I heard he had the biggest suite in the POW camp. But anyway, we talked about that. We vilified them on that particular point. It was just so much other things, so many other things that we were talking about.
Yeah, and we had some great guests. We had the sassy sociologist.
Monica Starks. Yeah.
My sister, Dr. Stitz, came on.
Yes, we sure did.
We had Al Grimes from
Fatherhood Initiative. We had Gary Jonak at LPS. We had some really
the Democratic. The national, not the national, but the Ohio Democratic chairperson.
Yes, we had some great guests on. We really did. And one of the things that I thought was another good part of our show too, is that people call in, and sometimes the issue that we were talking about, they'll say something, and we go into that whole different issue, because sometimes the issues that were coming through the phone were better than the issues we were having for that show.
It would morph into something else.
Exactly, it would morph into something else. And I remember a couple times where, and then when you got people, I forget, remember the one that was in Westside Bob?
Westside Bob, our regular.
He called in every show.
Yes.
Oh man,
yes.
I remember one time, I don't know if you remember this, Mike and I were out somewhere in a grocery store or something, and the lady was like, I know you guys' voice, remember that?
Right.
And we were like little celebrities. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, but it's just interesting to be able to have that forum. When Obama won the second time, one of the things that we were talking about were still stemming from the first time around with that question, because Obama was a cleanup hitter, man. Okay, bailing out Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, bailing out the auto industry, bailing out the airplane industry, bailing out the housing industry, all of that, bailing out Wall Street and AIG, the biggest insurance company in the world.
And
right?
all the banks.
All of that, right. Yes, he built all of that out. So we really were like, they had to let him stay in to finish the job. So it was really like.
And here's the thing, that's what the Republican Party used against him, because he gave all these big bailouts to these big companies. But he had to. Otherwise, we would have really been. We're a locomotive running off the cliff.
Right, exactly.
Going full steam.
Exactly.
And so he had to do drastic measures, and he did it because the night that he was elected, the Republican Party secretly met and said, we're going to try to do our best to block everything that he puts up. And so he did it. Not only the first time around, I think the Democrats held both power in the House and in the Senate. The second time around, they didn't.
They didn't at all.
So they lost a lot of seats the second time around, and they had that everything he put up. They were trying to block.
Yeah. What was your take, Duran, at that time? When Obama first and second? Yeah.
It was like he said, I thought that was a little too far-fetched for him to have a president of Obama to get elected. And I was surprised.
Were you proud and happy?
I was proud. I was really happy. I was like him, man. I'll put it to you this way. Go ahead. What was you saying? It was Bill Russell. I remember they couldn't go to hotels or such, back in the days. He said, I guess, one of his people, when he seen the white and black taking showers together, he started crying, one of the older people, because he said he'll never see that day where he would think that they would let the water be going on the same black and white at the same time.
That's excellent, Ray. You just took us back. Go ahead, I'm sorry. Finish.
And it's more to that point. The president, when he was elected, I said, maybe not in my lifetime, maybe in my children or grandchildren's lifetime, it could happen, but when that happened, I was feeling really good. I was like, hey, there's hope.
Yes.
And don't you think it's kind of crazy that he was elected in 2008 and then again in 2012?
Right.
Don't you think it's kind of crazy for us to be sitting here in the United States of America and saying that we never thought it would happen in our lifetime?
It's insane.
It is if you think about it. See, we don't ever stop and think about that.
Color.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I'm so glad you said that. If you really think about the skin color, think of your body as a spacesuit. Okay. So now, if you take everybody and put them on the moon, all right? Would you care? I'm not taking off my spacesuit. In other words, that's really what they are. That's really what our bodies are. They're just spacesuits with different color spacesuits. They really are. That's what they are. But we do everything by color. I wanted to mention one more thing too. Speaking about that, Mike, he took me back when you mentioned that about the show about Obama, and it was a lot of different things going on in terms of that. And it got to the point where there was a division. Didn't you feel like every brother was voting for Obama? Didn't you feel like every? Yeah, but listen, the white.
You would hear about it.
You
too
would
when
be.
You go
it was like OJ's guilty. OJ's not guilty. You know what I mean? It was really divisive, but at the same time, he won.
And he couldn't have without the help of others voting for him.
Exactly. There's
no way that we could have elected him
on our own. Yeah.
So and it's just you can compare that to like the civil rights movement.
Hey, that was a problem.
The Black Lives Matter, the Me Too, the police brutality. We can compare that same thing. Is that in order for change to happen, we got a black president elected. In order for change to happen, we had to get whites, Asians, Hispanics. We had to get them to vote for him.
Absolutely.
And
it's
the
grassroots all the way.
Same thing happened in the civil rights movement. It didn't become a problem until they started televising the beatings, the hoses turned on us, the dogs sicked on us, and people saw how inhumane people were living down south, and they started to get involved. And so that created change. Same thing with this police brutality, the Black Lives Matter. Listen, I don't think anyone is saying that white lives don't matter or Hispanic lives don't matter. All lives matter, but it just seems like with all the killings, there have been like over 140 killings of unarmed people, and since 2015, 2014.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
And I'm gonna be honest.
And it's not. It's gonna take the others to get involved. Quit sitting back and being silent.
The real leaders.
If we were as adamant as the LBGT community, they get it done.
Right.
We need to learn from them, baby. They get it done. I'm telling you right now. One of the things I wanted to get on, Mike, with and Joanne, when you were mentioning that about Obama, we did a show, Mike, about this is 7, 8, maybe 10, a little bit, maybe 10 years ago. We talked about all of the things that our forefathers, whatever, whether it be the Martin Luther Kings or the whatever, all of them. Okay, I'm keeping all of that. Now look how these boys dress today. You know what I'm saying? We did a whole show on the saggy pants. Remember that show? Did a whole show on the saggy pants.
Ooh,
we did a whole show on how you're supposed, the appearance aspect of it.
Unfortunately, we have not created any change.
Any change with that. I want to sell belts. Dude, I want to give away belts.
But the killing part is now they're buying the pants so small they can't pull them up over their waist.
Yeah. They went from real loose to real.
I just don't get it. Why do I have to see a grown person or a child or whoever's underwear? I mean,
we did a whole show about that. That was bad. Remember that show?
That's an issue.
We went off on. We had issues with that.
That is a real issue.
That's a major issue.
There was a whole generation of teaching lost in order for that to happen the way it is now.
You go back to the 50s and 60s, Lorraine, you're right. They were G. They were G.
It was either a whole lot of teaching loss or it was a whole lot of belts not being
slung. The belts used like they were supposed to.
Or used on people like they were supposed to.
But a long time ago, your uncle or anyone, they'll look at you a certain kind of way. Like you will do what you're supposed to do. Now you got these little uncles and everything. They're about their age and they're doing what they do.
Same thing.
And it's really gotten to the point where people are really afraid to say what's on their mind to these kids.
It's accepted. It's unacceptably accepted. How about that? Hey, but remember this show, Mike? We did a show about the lottery. We did that one show about the lottery. We talked about. Oh man, we broke it down because we were like, we got to play. It was like $562 million, something like that. Then we broke it down. Remember, you have a 1 in 6 million chance. The phone lines were lit up on this one too. We had a 1 in 132 to 132 million to 1 chance of hitting the lotto. If you bought that ticket, right? But you had a 1 in 6 million chance of getting struck by lightning. Which means if you put 6 into 132, you can get struck by lightning like 20 times and still have a 1 in 10 million chance to hit the lotto. So we talk about that. Do you think, remember that we got heated on that particular show talking about the lottery because we play the lottery. People could have, oh my goodness. If people that play the lottery put that money in a savings account, they wouldn't even need to play the lottery over years.
Yeah.
You remember that show?
My father was a big lottery player.
Yeah.
I don't play it that often, and I know someone who hit the lotto. So
yeah, you do. Yeah, tell them about your next lady across the street.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, best friends growing up. Lived across the street from us, and they hit for, I want to say, it was somewhere between 10 and 16 million. And blessed my family. They paid tuition, room and board for both my sisters and myself through college. So
wow.
It's definitely a blessing. That happened when I was probably a sophomore.
In high school?
In college.
Oh, in college. Okay,
yeah.
Wow, okay.
So I still wound up with student loans.
going for that extra education. We talked about that too, didn't we?
Right.
That was another show. Do you think that is over? Do you think that education should be free? We talked about that. Lines were lit up on that show. Do you think education should be free?
Yes, I do.
I mean, yeah, college education. I mean, what do you think?
Yes.
I think it should.
Absolutely. I think that there is.
That was a great show. I remember that.
There has to be some kind of way. I know that there are other countries that
Canada, Japan, Israel, China.
There has to be a way that we could figure this out.
All you can do is walk down the street where we do the show at here, and go to University Circle. They all are here for every time you see an international student, they're here for free.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's
well, we talked about that too. Yeah.
That's not an even playing field to me, but that's why I say it should be free. I think.
You think what? Go ahead.
I'm just saying, when you grow up, everyone lives different, and not everyone has an opportunity to.
I agree.
Or not everyone knows people are lucky enough to have the fortunate enough to send your kids through school.
They want them to go.
That's absolutely true.
It's absolutely
true. Smart kid or whatever, but they'll never get a chance to do anything.
Absolutely.
But
you know what? Here's the thing too, though, is not only making the schools free. That's not going to solve the problem, because what has to happen is you have to make them free, but you also have to distribute the wealth. So some of these schools that are more well off than others need to distribute the wealth to some of these other schools, like HBCUs.
That's why you was talking about that same
like
school.
HBCUs, like HBCUs.
Yeah.
Okay, say it again. Now, speaking of that,
show some love to the HBCUs.
Yes, and I'm showing love. And in the spirit of that, Mike and Duran, we found out that some of the schools here in Cleveland got failing grades again. Whether it was East Cleveland School District, I think it was some parts of Cleveland.
Ashtabula, I think.
Yes, a few others. I mean, and then here's the funny part: the state takes over your school, and you get a lower grade.
Well,
So what's kind of that?
And here's
state
the thing.
control.
With the grading system. So, first of all, Cleveland Public Schools don't have nearly as many resources as some of these other districts.
No doubt.
So it's kind of understandable how they can get that grade. Yeah. But if you take a district that is affluent and they're getting the failing grade, now that's a real issue.
That's a real issue. Yeah, I agree with that. So do you think, when we're talking that one show we did, is school for everybody? Because we opened the show up with this. I know for me that everybody that I know, probably 90% of the people in my life, went to school at some point. Most of the people that I know went to school for 12 years. College is 4, 2, 6, whatever, right? But everybody you know went to school from kindergarten to 12th grade, right? Yeah. That's 12 years of school. So in my mind, when I say it's school for everybody, I mean, from my experience, yeah, it is. See, after school, meet me in the playground. Where are we going? It was a school function. It was a whole thing around school. But Mike, you had a different take on that when we did it on the show. Do you remember your take?
I mean, I think you're right that school is for everyone, because even the ones that, you have the ones that drop out. You have the ones that don't go to college for whatever reason, lack of financing, whatever. They get a job, they still got to learn. Yeah. They got to learn how to do that job.
That's right.
So they're still learning.
That's true.
So you have to define what school is.
Yeah.
But
you get people that are good with their hands. Right. So the guys, there are people who drop out of high school, drop out of college. The guy's just good with his hands. He can play an instrument. She can sing. There's a plethora of things. Then you go to a school in that, like you just said, in that realm of what you're learning. Right.
I mean, you just think about any job that you've had. what's the first thing you go through?
Training.
Training.
Which is what? School.
You gotta have some social skills to get that. So I think it is for everybody because you have to have social skills to connect with.
And I think what happens is people talk themselves out of it.
Yes.
Because, you're talking about 21, 22 or more years of your life learning.
Yeah.
And what's the human body show? You
never stop learning.
What was the order?
Oh, it was grow, learn, survive.
So you're right. So learn. It's part of who we are.
It is. You never stop learning.
You never stop.
You're not. And if you drop the L off of learn, you got the rest. You can earn. You can earn.
I think a lot of people don't go to school really because they're not in the know. They don't have anyone to pull their coat or older people.
Okay, I got to interject this. Listen, guidance counselors. I was talking to some people. Ignatius was a different animal, but this some of these guidance counselors, man, they look at you like, well, you know what? You make a great landscaper. You know what I mean? You'd make a great cook, dude.
True story.
You'd make a great cook. So you're right about that not being
true story. My sister, when she was in high school, straight A student, straight A her whole life. Never got a B. And the counselor told her that she would make a great secretary.
Yep. See what I mean?
She's gone on to.
Go ahead, Kathy.
She got a scholarship to college. She got her bachelor's in 4, her master's a year later, and then worked for 9 months and went back and got her PhD, and is on track to become a president of the university. And they told her that she would be a great secretary.
And as an aside, that same person that told her is now her secretary. And I'm just I got issues. I got to keep it going.
I was going to say something like that. Go after.
You're a secretary. Yeah. I would pay you that effort, that extra. Remember we were talking about another thing, one of the shows we did, Mike. We were talking about comfort zones. And how we get comfortable, and like you say, you get stuck, and you get in situations where either you get too comfortable or you get complacent. It's like being ahead 20 points in a game. Right. You're like, man, I can chill. Right. Next thing you know, you're down 20. But we did a great show on that.
Or not even just sports. I mean, you can get complacent on your job.
On your job.
You get comfortable in a position. And you're not making great money, and could be making a lot more, but you're so comfortable doing what you're doing that you don't have the get up and go to go find something better.
Oh, you get up and go, get up and win? Is that it? Yes. But yeah, I remember that. It was a great show. The one guy called in and he said, the world turns over every 24 hours on somebody who thought they was on top of it because they got too comfortable. You know what I mean? We all get too comfortable, and I think that here's the thing too. I remember Brian, who was one of my fraternity brothers, that was one of our hosts at that particular time.
I remember that guy.
Yes, yeah, he was good. That's my frat bro.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Good guy. And we talked about.
Had a very deep voice.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, talk real slow. We talked about being in comfortable and uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
Like here's an uncomfortable situation. We've all been in sports, okay? You got to make that play, you got to hit that foul shot, you got to get that good grade, you got to be there on time. And you're uncomfortable, but sometimes we do our best so we get comfortable in those uncomfortable situations.
Right. Yeah.
Or back against the wall, whatever.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
You learn how to deal with those situations.
Yes.
Because the more you go through those uncomfortable situations, I think you get more comfortable moving through them. Because a lot of times, I think what happens is people, those uncomfortable situations come and people kind of freeze and wait for that to pass.
Yep.
Instead of walking through it.
Walking through it, yeah.
And I think once you learn how to walk through those storms, that life gets good.
Life gets good. and that's how we ended the show, Duran. We ended that particular show talking about how that builds character.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
and that's real important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I remember that particular show.
Didn't we do like a character and integrity show or something?
Yes, we did. We did a character and integrity show. We did. And we did a that was the same show that was tied in to chivalry.
Right.
So
is chivalry dead?
Yes, chivalry dead.
Right.
Do you still open the door for women?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do you now? One of the things that is this okay? We said this on the show, and I've seen you do it. We haven't hung around enough to really see this one. So a woman's coming to our table, or they get up to go to the bathroom. Yes. Do you stand up like this when they get ready to get up and go? I've seen you do it.
Yeah, I do it every now and then.
Every now and then.
I'm not consistent. I'm not consistent.
Not consistent, yeah. But
I'm glad you reminded me, so I'll have to get
consistent. But you know, right now you hold the door for a woman, particularly women that are a little bit like in our generation, they really appreciate it.
In our generation. I find that and I can never group all of them in one category, but there are younger women who don't appreciate it.
I know. Yeah.
Right? And they'll say, I got it.
Right.
I know you can get it.
Yeah, right, but that's not it. That's not the issue. You know, it's like.
Can I do my job?
Can I do my job? Now, what's the other one, Michael? We were talking about. I think me, you, and Brian we were in agreement on this. This is another we did. Okay, so I'm walking down the street, and you're walking down the street with your girl, or a girl, woman, whatever. Who should be closest to the curb?
The man.
The man.
Yeah.
Do you walk like that when you? Are you cognizant of that to this day?
I'm cognizant.
To this day.
Yes.
So am I. Are you?
Yes, I was talking. Maybe in my early 20s.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You a man.
But do you know the reason why?
I don't know if water came and you got splashed, or a car bumped the curb and you get hit. Come up the curb and you get hit.
You know, because it's twofold. If a car jumps the curb, you take the hit before your woman friend does, or from getting snatched.
Ah, nice. Do you remember that one show we did, Mike? There's a thing. I don't even want to call it a ritual.
But while you're thinking of it, 298-1554, 216-298-1554. Check us out on KAZradio.tv. Check us out on Facebook. Check
YouTube.
Out the Facebook page. We've got issues.
Absolutely.
Like us, follow us. Apple TV, Roku TV, Periscope, Twitter, and of course YouTube.
And Facebook.
Check us out, y'all. 216-298-1554.
We're talking about We've Got Issues, our 10th anniversary show. 10th anniversary. So we're really just reminiscing on the plethora of shows that we've done over the years, and just reminiscing. We started in September around this time 10 years ago. So one of the ones I was thinking about too, Mike, was the getting back to the chivalry thing. We were talking about, do you feel some type of way when the woman treats you, or she's making the money, she's buying you the dinners, she's paying your car note, she is paying your bills? Do you feel some type of way with that? Remember that particular show?
Yeah, but I've yet to have that happen to me.
Sorry, man. Was that a dream sequence show?
Yeah, I think I was dreaming that may have happened one day. Maybe I still got a shot.
You mean you've never had your car note paid, your mortgage paid,
no.
your student
loan? The most I've gotten was, I've been treated to dinner.
Okay. Well, they're on the right track. But we went into that because we were talking about this one guy, and the guy got out of jail and immediately hooked up with like this heiress to all this candy or something, or whatever, like Wrigley or somebody like that, right? And this dude just got jail. He was like, look, you need to. He told her, I'm dumping you. I'm going over to somebody else. I mean, he went to like the guy from, I don't know, but would it be hard for you to be a kept man?
Yeah. Hello, welcome to We've
Got Issues.
Hello, this is Veronica.
Hey, Veronica's a friend of our show, one of our producers. How you doing? We're doing great.
I was calling to congratulate you guys on We've Got Issue on your 10 years.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that. So getting back to this, is it a sore spot for us to be in a position where your money's no good? And then, let's put it this way: if Oprah was your woman, hypothetically. Your money's not as long as hers, right? Is that an issue? Is it an issue for a man in the black community to be around a woman or be with a woman who has more money than you?
Well, does it have to be black community?
You know what I mean, Mike. Stop.
I'm just saying. I think that goes across the board.
We've done a lot of shows together.
That's
I agree. In the white community, they had a movie with Michael Keaton called Mr. Mom. He was Mr. Mom. She was working. I rest my case there. They ain't got no issue with that. In the black community, you ask a black woman, she's like, that dude, you better get his butt out of here and work. I don't care how much money I make. He better be doing something. So we had a whole case. So in other words, can you be a kept man? Could you be a kept? That was one of the shows. The lines were lit up.
After I get over the initial shock and trying to figure out why this happening.
Thank you, Jesus. I love you. Hit the lotto and all that.
I probably could. I could get used to that.
It would have to be, and I just don't want to be held captive.
Oh.
Because I'm making all the money and.
So you don't want to throw it back in your face.
Yeah, don't throw it back.
Don't throw it back in my face.
Right.
All right.
But if you want to keep me, I'm open to the idea.
Right. But if
so holler at me. We've got issues. 216-298-1554.
We have no issue with that.
We're looking for takers.
Right.
Or givers.
Right. Or both. Right. You know, that was a great show. I remember that particular show because the one guy called in and he was talking about how he was lightweight being kept. He was like, we was like, man, we need to holler at you after the show. You know any friends? What's going on? He was like, yeah, man, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. I remember I was telling you guys also, a friend of mine, their bros, they had a moving company, and they moved the moving company to L.A. And they hooked up with Thelma on Good Times. Oh, and they they hooked up, and they hooked up with her best friend, the dark-skinned female on Three's Company. Okay, remember the dark-skinned lady on Three, Joyce DeWitt, I think her name is? Janet, yeah, right on her. So he was like, they're out there silking, and man, she hooked them up with all the moving things to the stars. Yep, and when they broke up, didn't work out, but it was a good run. And he said, Don, look, man, I just keep it moving. I thought that was funny. Just keep it moving. So, but he had no problem with it. I mean, so we remember that was a good show. We talked about that particular show.
It's you know, this is Thursday night, right, fellas?
Yeah, it is Thursday night. Yeah, and
there is a team playing tonight.
What is it? What is this?
At least two teams.
What is that?
Oh, yeah, I still got those hands.
You still got them hands, man. Throw it back, man. Oh, there you go. Fumble recovery. There we go. So, yeah, the Browns are playing right now. So, getting back to that, let's jump into that for a few minutes because guess what? When we did that show 10 years ago, we really were not taught. They weren't too much.
What was the Browns doing then?
The same thing, maybe 2 more wins.
Stop it. Stop the hate.
The same thing, maybe 2 more wins. That's all I can say.
Stop the hate.
Well, while Mike's looking up on that, we're going to continue our
let's see what the score is.
Our anniversary edition of We've Got Issues. 0-0 still. All right. We were talking about one of the things I remember from a show that we had a great thing talking about was how do you care how people think of you? Like appearance. Like, for example, here's one thing. I was in the store and I was talking to this lady, and I'm sorry, this is years ago. It's 2 examples, but here's the one I'll just use. I go to the beauty shop where my mom and my sisters are getting their hair done, okay? And I got my shoes shined, okay, right? And I walk in, I'm looking, okay. The lady said to me, you know what? You're going to be a man. Your shoes are shined. And I thought to myself, whatever, she said something like that. From that point forward, I shine my shoes all the time. I mean, but so appearance does matter. Don't you guys agree with that? We talked about the guys with the short, with the pants and stuff hanging down.
Absolutely.
Do you think your appearance matters?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Even more so, you know, because you have to, you know, first appearances, you know.
Right.
First impressions, first impressions.
Right.
They'll judge you by the first impression you give them, you know. So.
But you remember
a good hearty handshake, a smile.
Yep. Eye contact.
Neat, clean, you know, groom right. That goes a long way, and unfortunately, it has nothing to do with how smart you are or how educated you are. You know, a lot of times getting your foot in that closed door
comes off that appearance.
Comes off on first impression.
Exactly, Mike. That's exactly what you said 10 years ago. That's exactly what you said. And we took it a step further, Duran. Let's talk about those people out there who take it a step further. And what I mean by that is, I'm talking, so we say appearance, but we talked about it on the show, when you can be a little too huggy bearish. You can be a little too flashy with your appearance. Do you think, and you don't really see that, you see that more to me growing up. Yeah. Where you see the dude with the full length fur coat and the fur hat, getting into the Cadillac with the white walls. That's a little flashy, over the top to me.
Let's call it what it is, pimpadocious.
Right, pimpalicious, right. But you know what I mean? We still go a little. We can be a little too flashy. You know, one of the things that freaked me out when I was living in Florida was these guys, man. Oh my goodness, they would have the hottest, brand newest car that you could get at that moment. Okay. Fly, Range Rover, any car you want to name. Hot, right? Go back to their house, dude. No furniture.
Right.
You know, the bed on the floor, your air mattress, ain't no food in the refrigerator. But you get in that car, dude, you popping. So so they flash you out in the streets. And then I met the one guy we're talking about on the show, that particular show, Mike. I'm sure you remember. We showed a picture of that one guy, Sam Walton, who owns Walmart. The man never wore a suit in his life. Wore overalls with a T-shirt. Looked like he just jumped off a hee-haw, but he a billionaire. So appearances can be deceiving in that regard, right?
And I've been sober for some time now, and I've heard plenty of stories of the guy who looked up at the corner and admired the guys that were standing on the corner with the fancy suits, the flashy, shiny cars, a pocket full of money. You know, all the gold and rings and everything, and they wanted to be just like them.
Right.
And they wound up being just like them.
Wow.
And years later, that was, not necessarily a regret, but that was something that led them down that path. So I think a lot of times, everything that glitters don't mean it's gold.
Yeah. You know, but one of the things that we also talked about, one particular show we did too, is something that I know that you're getting into right now. I mean, I've seen that several $1,000 camera that you have, whatever. Hobbies. We were talking about hobbies. A lot of people don't have, for lack of hobbies. We go places to eat, we go places to dance, we go to concerts, we work out. We have things that we do, but some people sit up here. I got a friend. What they do is he takes a soldering type thing and he puts people's last names on big slabs of rocks. Right, and you can put it in front of your house. You know what I mean? That's his hobby. You got some people who restore cars, and we talked about the importance of getting hobbies. And at that time, 10 years ago, I was like, I don't really have a hobby. Do you have a hobby to this day?
I used to have one until I got really time consumed. My hobby was like aquariums and fish.
Okay.
I love.
Well, you still do. You got to get back to it.
Yeah, I got to get back to it.
Got to get back to it.
That was the only hobby I really.
Good, and it makes you feel good about what you like to.
Yeah, I used to have fix my tank up a certain.
I have a
certain kind of way. I'll put all kind of little stuff in there, make it look a little gloomy.
Yeah.
And it was really fun because I would,
You're lighting up right now talking about it. You got to get back into that. You got to get back into that. Yeah, Mike, I know you're doing a photography thing now too.
No.
Not as much as you want. So what would you say your hobby was then?
I like to read. I like to. I wish I had more time to read. I like to travel. I guess hobby or bucket list, like we were talking earlier off air. I really would like to learn how to fly a plane.
Yeah. When we were doing the show, earlier shows with Pastor James over there, the show was at Berkeley Airport. Excuse me. I went and found out how much it costs to actually fly, and it's $50 an hour for 50 hours. Excuse me, $50 an hour for 50 hours. Yeah. So like you said, $2,500. That's a great hobby. I mean, a great something to do.
I might just do that.
You should do that. You should do that. There's people right now that can't swim. That would be a bucket list. If you can't swim, there's a guy. I have friends of mine that I've had Cedar Point tickets, and I love roller coasters. People don't ride roller coasters. Well, you need to make that a hobby. That's like one of the best feelings in the world. Photography. I want to start. I want to make some stuff though. You know what I mean? Like people make necklaces and make all kind of woodworking, and
I think on the hobby issue though, I think we like. The world is so time consumed now, and
you got to make time.
You got to beat deadlines here, there, and whatever. Like chess, for example. I used to love to play chess.
I love to play chess, yeah.
But if you're a good chess player, if you got a good chess player on the other side of you, you'll spend a half a day on chess.
Unless you're playing on the time when you have to.
That's different.
I would like to, when you brought up chess, it just made me think about cooking.
Ah, yeah.
You know, I would love to learn how to cook different cuisines like Chinese and
that's old
sushi.
That's a good hobby,
Japanese, Chinese.
Yeah. Foods of the world, yeah. That's a good hobby. Have you thought about? Do you have any desire to see anything?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, like I want to step foot on this before I want to see that before
absolutely.
You know.
Mine is simple. I just want to see. I want to travel from here to out west. I just want to see how all the mountain ranges change. All that. I like to sightsee.
So do I.
I'm one of those kind of weird. I just like to look at the outlivers and mountains and.
I did. I traveled from. I drove from here to California.
Wow. See, that's what I'm talking about. I would love.
What's amazing?
Like
in the desert.
So August, I'm leaving L.A. driving to Houston.
Okay. August, the hottest month.
So you go through Arizona.
Desert.
You go through New Mexico.
Desert.
And if you look north, you can see the snow-capped mountains in the distance.
Wow.
And it's different states that you're looking at.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, it's no mountains, I don't think, in...
you got Flagstaff, Arizona, that's it.
What about New Mexico?
I don't know.
Yeah. So,
I would say no.
Yeah, but you could see them in the distance, and they're the Rockies.
Yeah.
And they have the snow caps on them in
August.
August.
In August, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's traveling is something else. I wanted to.
That's one thing I'm into traveling.
Any place I want to go to. We got the East Coast of Cleveland, East Coast of the United States. That's what we think to go. I want to go far east, like China. I would like to go to China.
Africa for me.
China and Africa as well. I have no desire to go to Russia. What about something? I would love to do. There's one element of transportation. I always wanted to do all the modes of transportation: ship, boat, train.
I want to do train. I've never been on a train.
Never done a train either.
Yeah, I did as a baby, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I would love to do the train too, like a cross country.
Yeah. Any desire to how should I put it here? Any desire to, I guess, go rustic, so to speak. Some people, like in the military, will not, whatever. Do you ever think about going out camping? We were talking about that. That was another show we did where, a lot of Caucasian folks love to go camping. A lot of black folks were like, camping?
Right.
What? It better be a timeshare. It better be a resort.
Right.
I'll go camping as long as it's a log cabin with
with
heat
a
and a jacuzzi on the back.
I just need a fireplace.
I'm talking tent, Mike.
No.
I'm talking tent.
Not happening.
You hear what he said? People out there, say that again. A log cabin.
A luxury log cabin with,
with room service, 24-hour service.
No, don't have to have room service. I can cook for myself.
Okay.
But they have to have a refrigerator and electricity.
Microwave.
A jacuzzi on the back deck would be nice.
Right. And a cigar spot to smoke.
So you couldn't go to one of those Amish country cabins, right, with the fireplace just.
No, I'm talking tents, people. I'm talking camping.
No.
I'm not talking lodging in a.
No.
We did that show. People calling in like, "I'm with you, Mike. I'm with you, like."
That's what the Army is for.
Yeah. Okay. I resemble that remark. That's all I can say.
I could probably do it, but when you go camping, you have to have somebody. It's better to have somebody with you and have fun like a kid or whatever. They might not be able to
by
take
yourself.
I've done it by myself.
You might not.
You get a tent, right? You get a sleeping bag, right? And there you go. That's it. Your car's down the street. Now you're looking up at the stars. How hard is that? We used to do.
Was the tent got a hole in the roof?
No, before you get in the tent, we used to go to camp when we were kids, right?
And they had cabins.
Yeah, but you still.
I wasn't outside.
So, like I said, that's not on our bucket list. But black folks just don't do a lot of camping. We need to camp out on that, y'all.
There's a lot of stuff out in the woods that you're scared of.
Right.
Wait, speak for yourself, there, Brian.
You are too dark now. You see the wrong thing when you wake up.
If I see it, obviously.
What are you thinking, Leonardo DiCaprio? You could kill a bear?
Oh no, not running away. But, no, you know what I mean. So we talked. That was another great show we did. We talked about our great outdoors and all that.
Right, but I like stuff like that, camping.
Yeah, I think that I think we should explore your bucket list and your hobbies. I mean, I think that that's something that we work so hard for other people. I mean, at the end of the day, if you think about it, the average person is giving 40 hours a week to their job, and that's just at the job. That ain't kind of getting up at 6, taking a shower, getting ready, getting breakfast. You give 40. How many hours a week? How many hours a week do we give to ourselves? And that's what that show was out. Remember that show? That was a great show. Let's close it out here. We got about 5 or 6 more minutes left on the show. We're reminiscing about our 10th anniversary. Mike, give them the call-in letters for the call-in number.
216-298-1554. That's 216-298-1554. KAZradio.tv. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, Apple TV, and Roku TV. Check us out, y'all. Facebook, we got a page called We've Got Issues. Like us, follow us, hook us up, let us know how you think of what you think of the show, and we will reply to your comments.
Absolutely. We're talking about our 10-year anniversary. I got Duran Freeman, my man Michael Stitz. Mike and I have done so many shows together. We started in September 10 years ago around this time, and we're reminiscing about some of our shows that we do right now. Good shows. Some really good shows. You remember that one show where we were talking about the politicians. We talked about, that was another big show before we get into a little bit of the Browns here. The big show where all of these politicians in Cleveland were going to jail. Remember that Zach Reed had got and we equated everything around with just get a driver. You know what I mean? But I mean, we talked about corruption in Cleveland that particular time. It was so much corruption going on. That was another big show. Remember that show?
I do. Yeah.
And we talked about that. We talked about how how should I put it? Certain things get out, certain things stay in, but it always seems to be a lot of our stuff that gets out and a lot of their stuff that stays in. And so that's what we were talking about that. I remember that particular show. Because guys were like, man, if they get this, because we talked about the show, and then we went to the Woodhill Festival, and they had who they have, Midnight Star, Stephanie Mills, the OJ. I'm like, Zach, man, you can get you another DUI. Dude, that was a great show. Thank you. But what the show was really about was everybody deserves a second chance, for the most part.
Yeah.
I ain't talking about no murderers, no rapist type stuff, but everybody deserves a second chance.
Right.
And that was really the theme of our show, really, for the first several shows. You remember?
Yeah, I do.
Everybody deserves a second chance. I mean,
Unfortunately, everybody doesn't get a second chance.
Exactly.
And some of the people that do get second chances don't deserve second chances.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Yeah. All right, well, let's wrap it up a little bit. We got 3 or 4 minutes left.
What's the Browns doing? 0-0. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. Defensive game. Defensive struggle.
So the Browns 0-0 against the New York Jets, a game that they were favored to win.
Last time,
by 3 or 4 points.
Last time they were favored, they lost.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll pull away in the second half.
All right, so let's talk about this Josh. Let's talk about the New Orleans game, and I'll talk about this Josh Gordon.
Oh man.
Let's wrap that up with that.
I was rooting for Josh Gordon so much.
I was also.
I really wanted to see that brother perform
because I see the ability.
Yes.
And I know you.
The talent.
See,
and
it's crazy.
And the sad part is he's going to wind up winning the Super Bowl with New England.
What's your take on him?
Same here. I was really rooting for him because I seen all the ability he had. He's like the big Julio Jones, AJ Green, the receiver, was even fast. He's just more physical and faster. I was rooting for him to make it, but at some point you gotta
18 games in 6 years.
But here's the thing, though.
18 games in 6 years.
Here's the thing.
6 years, 18 games.
I feel like he's been rewarded for not performing.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
Because I
agree.
He's New England's in the Super Bowl hunt every single year.
And now he goes there. And they cut Corey Coleman to make room for him.
But watch it now, New England. This year.
I know they're 0-2. They're 0-2, but it's New England.
Yeah, it's New England. Yeah, it's New England.
They still got Tom Brady.
Yeah. I don't know. I think
their defense is like a sieve, though.
We want to thank everybody for listening to the show. We're going to go home and now watch the Browns and go Browns against the Jets.
Go Browns.
Thank you guys for listening to our 10-year anniversary of our show as we reminisced about some of the great shows that we've had during that time. Mike, you want to take us out in prayer? Everybody have a great week. Go Browns, and remember to be kind to each other.
Father, we just thank you for today. We thank you for the show. We thank you for 10 years allowing us to bring news and education to the people out there. We ask that you continue to guard us, guide us, and protect us. Give us traveling grace and mercies as we go about our way and get to our appointed destination safely. And we'll be ever so careful to lift your precious Son, Jesus' name, in praise. Amen.
Amen. See you next week.